might count the scars and call it a eulogy, but God doesn't build graves, He builds warriors.
I bled on the altar, tears at the floor, every night on my knees, training for war. The darkness was heavy, couldn't see through the storm, but pressure make diamonds, God was shaping my form. Rose at 4 a.m. when the cold air bit, soul on the barbell, wouldn't let it quit. Every rep was a prayer, every mile a song. When the chaos was screaming, I found peace in the calm. They counted me out when my back was against it, called it a loss, but I called it a blessing. God in the fire, now removing the flame. He was forging my steel, so I sharpened my aim. I've been down in the valley, I walked through the dark, but the God who made mountains, He lives in my heart. Every scar is a story, every stone left a mark. Now I'm rising like fire, igniting the light. God built the warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. God built the warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. I'm a soldier in a war that the eye cannot see. Spiritual battlefield, the enemy came for me, but I'm armored in the word, got the gospel on lock. Built on a rock, you can't move what God's got. I've been hit like Job, I've been tested like steel. Faith isn't feeling good, it's trusting what's real. When the mountain wouldn't move, I said God move me through it. Started walking on the water cause He told me to do it. Lions didn't stop Daniel, the furnace didn't burn. Every valley got a purpose, it's a lesson you earn. So I fight through the blood, sweat, it's all in my eyes, cause I know what's on the other side. The sun always rises. Lord, I am weak, but You are strong. I didn't come this far to fall. You placed this fire inside my bones, and You don't build a warrior just to watch him fold. God built a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. God built a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Rise, 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 rise. God built a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. God built a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Rise, 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 rise.
You were never just surviving, you were always being built. God doesn't waste pain, He turns it into purpose. Now walk out like it.
God is the warrior. Three things build every champion that God ever raised. Not talent, not luck, not applause. Blood, sweat, and prayer. In that order. Every single time. Yeah, before the glory there was grit on the floor. Before the victory there was blood at the door. Before the crown there was a cross to be carried. Before the wedding there was soldier who married. The grind locked in before the sun came up. The pain, learning how to overflow the cup. The cost, nobody told me it was this high. The faith saying yes to God without asking why. I grabbed my hands in the dark where no one was watching. Shadow box my demons when the enemy was mocking. Pushed through the lactic acid burning in my soul. Discipline was the tides I paid to reach the goal. Every callus on my palm is a testimony written. Every scar on my body is a sermon God is giving. I didn't get here on talent, I got here on my knees. Blood on the altar, sweat on the floor, God hold me please. This ain't just physical, this war goes deeper. Every rep is spiritual, the stakes get steeper. I'm not just training my body, I'm training my faith. Blood, sweat, and prayer, that's the holy trinity of great Jesus. That's how I was made, on my knees in the dark. That's where champions are In Gethsemane, they sweat drops of blood. That's the blueprint for the warrior, covered in mud. He didn't tap out when the pressure was maximum. He said, not my will, and walked into the sanctum. So don't tell me prayer was weak. I've seen it move mountains. Don't tell me faith is passive. I see it open fountains in the desert, in the darkness, in the depths of my doubt. Prayer was the only weapon that could take the enemy out. I train like the problems, 31 woman before it all. I fight like Nehemiah, soul in one hand, building on. I press like Paul, I'm saying I count it all as lost. I kneel like Jesus did the night before the cross. This body is a temple, I maintain it for the king. Every workout is an offering, every prayer a reckoning. I don't separate the sacred from the sweat upon my brow. Blood, sweat, and prayer, this is my holy vow. Lord, my hands are bleeding, but they're still reaching up for you. My body is exhausted, but my spirit is breaking through. Every drop of sweat I've given, every tear that hit the ground, every prayer I prayed in silence when I couldn't make a sound. You collected every single one, not one moment was in vain. You were counting every sacrifice and storing up my gain. Not one drop was wasted, not one prayer felt empty, not one night in the darkness was hidden from your glory. Jesus and prayer, that's how I was made, on my knees in the dark. That's what champions are raised. Every drop I gained, I didn't waste a thing. Now watch me raise. That's how I was made, on my knees in the dark. That's what champions are raised. Every drop I gained, I didn't waste a thing. Now watch me raise.
Before said and done, you'll see the trophy, you'll see the belt, you'll see the victory. But only you and God know about the blood, about the sweat, about the prayers that held you together when nothing else could. It's the real championship, and God already gave it to you.
They said you were finished. They counted the scars and called it a eulogy. But God doesn't build graves, He builds warriors. Yeah. I bled on the altar, tears hit the floor, every night on my knees, training for war. The darkness was heavy, couldn't see through the storm, but pressure makes diamonds, God was shaping my form. Rose at 4 a.m. when the cold air bit, soul on the barbell, wouldn't let it quit. Every rep was a prayer, every mile a psalm. When the chaos was screaming, I found peace in the calm. They counted me out when my back was against it, called it a loss, but I called it a blessing. God in the fire, not removing the flame, He was forging my steel, so I sharpened my aim. I've been down in the valley, I have walked through the dark, but the God who made mountains, He lives in my heart. Every scar's a story, every formula for more. Now I'm rising like fire, igniting the dark. God builds up, warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest, and the red in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. God build the warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest, and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant dies. God build the warrior, I don't fall. I'm a soldier in a war that the eye cannot see. Spiritual battlefield, the enemy came for me, but I'm armored in the word, got the gospel on lock. Built on a rock, you can't move what God's got. I've been hit like Job, I've been tested like steel. Faith isn't feeling good, it's trusting what's real. When the mountain wouldn't move, I said God move me through it. Started walking on the water cause He told me to do it. Lions didn't stop Daniel, the furnace didn't burn. Every valley got a purpose, it's a lesson you earn. So I fight through the blood, sweat, and salt in my eyes, cause I know what's on the other side, the sun always rises. Strip back, quiet intensity, raw motion, almost a whisper before the explosion. Lord, I'm weak, but You are strong. I didn't come this far to fall. You placed this fire inside my bones, and You don't build a warrior just to watch watch him fall. God builder, warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant cries. God build a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Fire in my chest and thunder in my eyes. Every chain is broken, every giant cries. God build a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Rise, 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 rise. God build a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. Rise, 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 rise. God build a warrior, I don't fall, I rise. You were never just surviving. You were always being built. God doesn't waste pain. He turns it into purpose. Now walk out like it. Yeah. I don't fall, I rise.
Before you were born, the enemy already knew your name. He didn't come for you because you're weak. He came for you because he saw what God placed inside you. The attack was always proof of the assignment. You were never a casualty. You were always a weapon. And God built you for war. I was forged before the foundation, called before the womb. Destined for the battlefield, not destined for the tomb. The enemy saw the blueprint and he came in early. Tried to abort the mission, God said no, not surely. Every attack on my childhood was a case of mistaken identity. He thought he was stopping me, he was building my intensity. Every wound became a weapon, every scar became a shield. What he meant to make me quit with got used on the battlefield. I don't fight like a man who doesn't know the outcome. I fight like the victory's already written in the outcome. Revelation shows the ending and the Lamb already won. So every battle that I'm in is just the through what was done. Put on the full armor, helmet locked, breastplate on, feet fitted for the gospel, faith shield, sword drawn. This ain't carnal warfare, principalities fall. When the warrior who knows his God stands up and answers the call. I didn't choose this war, the war chose me. Before I drew a breath, God wrote my victory. The scars on my body are a map of where I've been, but the fire in my spirit shows you where I'm going. Built for, not built to fall. God designed me to answer the call. Every battle, every storm, every wall. Built for war, and I'm standing tall. I'm a get-in soldier, 300 deep in faith. Quality over quantity, got arrows down to great. He reduced the army so the glory will be clear. When the victory comes, it's obvious God was here. Nehemiah built a wall with a sword in his hand, worship in one hand, warfare in the other. That's the plan. You can't separate the builder from the fighter in the season. We're constructing something holy, and the enemies got reason to be terrified, because we know what's at stake. We're not playing church while the coach is on the break. We're advancing on the dates, not just holding our ground. Gates don't move, we go, we take with God his crown. I was made for moments that would make most men fold. Pressure is my native language. I was sculpted from the cold, tested in the wilderness for 40 days and nights. But every trial was a briefing before the greatest fights. Spiritual DNA coded in my marrow. God didn't make me wide, he made me sharp and narrow. Precision is the calling, discipline is the craft. Every warrior God deploys was built to make it last. I'm not afraid of the darkness, I've been trained to fight in it. I'm not afraid of the giant, I've got God behind it. Every mountain that stands before me already has a name, and the name is already conquered in the power of his name. So I live fast to the battle, not with trembling but with peace, because the God who made the heavens said this war belongs to me. I was made for this. Not by my own strength, but by the God who built you up. Built for war, built before I drew a breath. So every test, built for war. The enemy studied you, planned against you, came for everything you had, and you're still here, still standing, still fighting. You wanna know why? Because before he ever moved against you, God already duped you for exactly this. I'm finished the mission. The kingdom is counting on you. Before you were born, the enemy already knew your name. Before you were born, the enemy already knew your name. Before you were born, the enemy already knew your name. Before you were born. Fear will talk to you every single day. It'll sound logical. It'll sound like wisdom. But fear is a liar dressed in a suit. And faith
is the only thing that ever moved mountains.
I heard the voice of fear at 3 a.m. whispering my failures, replaying them again. Said you ain't enough, said the odds are stacked high. Said look at your past, I said look at my God. I've been paralyzed before, feet froze at the edge. Standing on a mountain with my back to the ledge. But something rose inside me, couldn't call it my own. It was ancient, it was holy, it would fire my bones. Every giant has a shadow that'll swallow your sight. With David, they measured Goliath, he measured his God right. So I'm done counting problems like they carry the weight. I started counting promises and promises that don't break. The storm is real, I feel it on my skin. The doubt is louder screaming from within, but louder than the thunder, louder than my pain. I hear the voice of God calling out my name.
Faith over fear.
I will not break. God holds the ground beneath my faith. Mountains move and chains fall away. Faith over fear. I've been in the furnace where the temperature rose, spraying the fire, but I wasn't alone. Shadrach vibes, the flames didn't take me. What the enemy meant for death, God used to remake me. Fear is just a shadow with nobody behind it. Truth is a sword, go ahead and find it. The word of God is sharper than a double-edged blade. I'm cutting through the darkness that the enemy made. I don't walk by what I see, I walk by what I know. Faith is not the absence of the storm, it's how you row. Peter walked on water till his eyes hit the waves, but Jesus didn't let him drown. Grace card and meant fall saved. So I fix my eyes on what is unseen and eternal. The battle on the outside starts bending when it's internal. I surrender fear like I'm laying down a weapon, and pick up faith like armor every morning, every second. I won't pretend the fear ain't real, I won't pretend it doesn't cut. But perfect love casts out on fear in you. I'm more than enough when I am weak. You are strong when I can't see. You got me on, so take my trembling, take my doubt, and turn my whisper to a shout. I will not break. God holds the ground beneath my faith. Mountains are moving, takes fall away. Faith over fear. I will not fall. The God who made the stars heard my call. Darkness breaks and light floods through. Faith over fear.
I will not break.
Fear knocked on the door. Satan answered, and nobody was there. Walk forward. God already cleared the path. The darkest hour is not a metaphor. It's a real place, a real moment, where the night feels permanent, where the morning feels like a myth, where everything in you wants to put the gloves down and let the darkness win. But dawn is not canceled just because you can't see it yet. The sun doesn't ask you permission to rise, it rises every single time. So fight until you see it, fight until dawn. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. when the enemy is working overtime, attacking every weakness, attacking every fault of mine. The night feels like a lifetime, feels like it won't end. Every time I almost sleep, the battle comes again. I've been in the midnight of a season that won't move, fighting unseen battles with nothing left to prove, except that I believe that morning has to come, that weeping endures the night, but joy outlasts the sun. Jacob wrestled through the darkness with the angel till the break, wouldn't let go, dislocated hip, still refused to shake. Said I will not release you until you bless my name. Dawn came and Jacob leaped, but he was never the same. There's something about the midnight fight that morning can't replace, something holy in the struggle that you only find in that space between the darkest dark and the first in line of light, where champions are decided in the middle of the night. My arms are heavy, eyes can barely see the next round. Every whip of battle, every step is hollow ground, but I can feel it, something shifting in the air. Dawn is on the other side of this, and I'll meet it there.
Fight until dawn.
Don't put the gloves down.
The morning is coming.
And when it comes to crown,
The night ain't permanent.
the darkness always breaks.
Fight until dawn.
For everything at stake. Elijah ran into the wilderness at night, burned out and exhausted, gave her on the fight. Said, Lord, take my life, I have had enough. But God sent an angel, said the journey's still too tough for you to stop here. Get up, eat, drink, rise. The journey is too great, it's more before your eyes. At midnight of depression didn't end Elijah's story. It was just the darkest passage before the braided glory. Weeping they endure for a night, but that night has an end. The psalmist knew the darkness, but he knew the dawn was sin. Joy in the morning, mercy new with every sun. The God who made the stars doesn't let the darkness run. And definitely, there's a clock on every night. There's a limit to the darkness, there's a border to the fight. They didn't make you know he occupied the hours he's been given. And when his time runs out, you're still here, still living. So I count the dark hours like a countdown to the light. Every minute that passes is a minute you want to fight. Every privilege to midnight is a stone and Goliath sling low enough for the moment when the morning starts to sing. And even when my body says there's nothing left to give, I remind myself that dawn is by the fight, it's fight to live. Not for the night, but for the light that bursts the night into. Fight until the dawn and watch what morning does for you. Lord, the night has been so long, I've lost count of the hours fall. My hands are barely holding every lesson barely taught, but I hear something fading distant, like a promise on the wind, like the first note of the morning, playing low before the hymn. Is that you? Is that the dawn? Are you turning like the day? Is this darkness almost over? Is the morning on its way? Then I hold.
10 more seconds.
10 more breaths
I hold.
until the darkness breaks. I fight until there's nothing left.
The dawn is
The
breaking.
dawn is breaking.
Dawn is breaking.
Hold your crown.
The dawn is breaking.
It's almost like
The dawn is
the
breaking.
dawn is breaking.
Dawn is breaking.
The dawn is breaking.
Dawn is breaking.
Fight.
The dawn is breaking.
Fight. Don't put the goals down.
Dawn is coming.
Then when it comes to crown,
The night ain't permanent.
the darkness always breaks.
Fight till dawn.
For everything at stake.
Fight till dawn.
Take off style all night.
Fight till dawn.
Fighting sees the fight.
Fight till dawn.
We've been held tonight, but joy owns the morning. Fight till dawn. The sun is already forming.
Is the night permanent?
No,
Is the darkness spinning?
No.
What's coming?
no,
When is it coming?
soon.
What do you do until then?
Fight. How long do you fight?
The dawn of your fight.
Say it for the ones at midnight.
Fight till dawn.
Say it for the ones almost out.
Fight till dawn.
Say it like the sun is rising.
Fight till dawn.
Let heaven light.
I know it didn't feel like you would. I know there were moments where the darkness felt permanent, where the morning felt like a lie. Someone told you to keep you fighting. Well, look at the horizon. Do you see it? A thin line of light that the darkness cannot touch. It's not just the sun, it's the faithfulness of God showing up on schedule, like He always has, like He always will. You fought until dawn, and dawn came. It always comes because God never came.
Everyone wants the mountain. Everyone wants the summit, the view, the victory, the moment everyone sees. But nobody talks about the valley, the long, the dark, the alone, the place where nothing seems to move and God seems silent. But here's what they don't tell you. The valley isn't where you go to die. It's where God goes to build. And what He builds in the valley is what carries you up the mountain, I've been in the valley so long, I forgot the sky. The walls on every side, and I couldn't tell you why. God went quiet, or so it seemed to me. But silence is an absence that took years to see. I planted seeds in soil that looked like it was dead. Prayed prayers that hit the ceiling, or so the enemy said. Worked in the dark without a single sign of return. Held on to a promise with nothing left to burn. The valley has a way of stripping everything far. The pretense and the performance and the artificial walls. You find out who you really are when nobody's looking in. The valley is the mirror that shows you deep within. I've seen men breaking comfort who were strong in the crowd, but valley men are different. They're quiet and they're loud, quiet in their confidence, loud in what they've learned. The mountain view means nothing if the valley wasn't earned. Every prophet had a desert, every king had a cave, every warrior of God had a season in the shade where the fruit was invisible and the process felt like waste. But God was in the valley, building at His pace.
Built in the valley,
not on the hill.
God does His deepest work in the still.
What breaks on the mountain was never built right.
Built in the valley,
Ready for the fight. Joseph spent 13 years in the valley of betrayal, pit to prison, brothers envy to Potiphar's jail. But every valley was a classroom adding to his weight. The wisdom that would save a nation, forging that estate. Moses spent 40 years in the desert unknown, before the burning bush, before the staff and the stone. The deliverer of millions was being built in obscurity. Valley seasons are the tuition paid for maturity. David ran from Saul through valleys cold and bare, writing songs of worship in the wilderness of prayer. Cave and Bedouin, broken they became His army. Valley seasons gather warriors, nothing about them harming. They're the making of a moment, they're the forming of a force. The valley is the foundry and the suffering is the source of a street that doesn't crumble when the opposition comes. Valley built believers are a different kind of wine. So I stopped asking God to lift me from the low, started asking what He's building while I'm here below. Because the roots go deep in valleys, that's the natural law. And deep roots holding storms, the shallow was never solved.
I won't lie, I asked to leave. Every single day I prayed, Lord, get me out of this valley. Take this season away. But you were gentle in your silence. I decided when to play. You said I'm not ignoring you. I'm building you where you stay.
Every tear that hit this valley floor,
You collected
every prayer I prayed in darkness, you
answering the sun.
So I lay down my complaint and I pick up my trust, because the God who builds them valleys always raises up the just. The valley is the workshop,
The valley is the force.
the valley is the place.
The valley is the place where
God builds what heaven needs.
from the skies the valley.
Don't rush the valley,
That God built in the valley.
what the mountain will reveal.
Built in the valley, not on the hill. God does His deepest work
Built in the valley.
Hebrews don't break.
Built in the valley.
Built in the valley.
For the mountain's sake. Every silent season was a brick in the wall.
Built in the valley.
Yeah, and I'm ready to stand tall. Where did God build you?
Built in the valley.
Where did He find you?
Built in the valley.
Where did He change you?
Built in the valley.
Where did He raise you?
Built in the valley.
Are you still in it?
God still builds.
Are you almost out?
God still builds.
Say it loud. Built in the valley.
Built in the valley.
Living here.
Built in the valley.
Let the mountain know. You've been in this valley longer than you thought you could survive. They've questioned everything, the calling, the promise, the silence. But look at what you've become since you've been down here. Look at the depth, look at the roots, look at what God built when nobody was watching. The mountain is coming, and when you get there, you'll understand. Every single day in the valley was worth it. Every single day. Steel doesn't become a sword by asking for an easier process. It becomes a sword because someone who knows what they're doing put it in the fire and refused to take it out until it was ready. God is the blacksmith. You are the steel and the fire. The fire was never punishment. It was always the plan. I went into the furnace as one thing came out another. The heat was so intense I couldn't recognize the color of the person I was before the fire found my name. But the man who walked out after, he was never quite the same. I've been on the anvil, felt the hammer of his hand. Every blow felt like destruction, every blow was part of the plan. He was knocking out the carbon, purging out the wheat, shaping me for purposes I hadn't learned to seek. The dross rose to the surface, ugly things inside, pride and fear and bitterness. I thought I learned to hide. The refiner watched it bubble up and skimmed it all away. Said I can't use the impure version. We're not done today, so we raised the temperature. When I thought we were through, the hottest part of the process was the part I never knew was coming, but he knew it. He designed a degree. The fire wasn't random, it was surgical and free. I didn't understand the fire while I was in. I couldn't see the sword while I was still the metal. But the blacksmith never panicked, never lost his grip. He held me in the furnace, never let me slip.
Forget it, fire.
I came out still. What tried to melt me made me real. God's the blacksmith, his hands don't shake.
Forget it, fire.
I will not break. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego walked into the blaze. 7 times hotter than Nebuchadnezzar's rage. But the fourth man in the fire wasn't on the roster. The enemy made the furnace hot enough to foster the blazing sword, the Son of God. You see the math. The enemy's worst weapon became the holy path. But when they counted with the living God, a sign flame, they walked out not just alive, they walked out without shame. Not even the smallest smoke upon their clothing. God's protection in the fire was the most devoted form of love. He didn't take them around the heat. He walked them through the middle, made the furnace incomplete. In his mission to destroy what God has set apart. I've been in my own furnace, fire touching every part. Business, relationships, identity and calling. Everything I do with my own hands was falling. But the fourth man showed up like he always does, not to explain the fire, just to walk it with us. And when we came out standing, what was lost was just the rope, the chains that had me bound. The fire gave me hope.
I used to pray to skip the fire.
Lord, take me around the pain.
You need a destination
without the breaking in the flame.
But now I understand the process.
Now I see what fire does.
It doesn't just remove the weakness.
It reveals exactly what love was. Every time you raise the temperature, you were raising up a sword. Every time I felt abandoned, you were Blacksmith looked at what came out of the fire, turned it over in his hands, examined every edge, every surface, every line. If you didn't see the broken thing that went in, you saw exactly what he always intended to make you: complete, sharp, ready. The fire didn't ruin you, it revealed you. I went into the furnace, is one thing. I went into the furnace. I went into the fire. 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 I went into the furnace. 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 I went into the fire. I went into the fire. I went into the fire. I went into the furnace. As one thing came out of furnace. I went into the furnace. As one thing came out of furnace. I went into the furnace. I went into the I went into the furnace. 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 The steel doesn't become a sword by asking for an easier process. It becomes a sword because someone who knows what they're doing put it in a fire. They refuse to take it out until it was ready. God is the blacksmith. You want to steal in the fire. The fire was never punishment. I went into the furnace. I went into the furnace. I went into the fire. I went into the fire. I went into the Every fighter leaves a corner. Someone who sees what you can't see. When the blood is in your eyes. Someone who tells you the truth when the pain is lying to you. I looked into my corner and God was standing there, towel in his hands, and he never threw it in. Yeah. 8 rounds. Yeah. 8 rounds. Hey. Yeah. 8 rounds. Yeah. Yeah. 8 rounds in and my legs are giving way. Vision blurring, corner screaming what to say. Body broke down, spirit hanging by a thread. But the voice in my corner cut through all the dread. He said, breathe, I see the opening, they don't. You feel finished, but I'm telling you, you won't. I know every bruise, I know every crack. I put you in this ring and I always bring you back. I've been cut above the eye, sweat stinging the wound. Every punch I took felt like it came too soon. But my corner never panicked, never threw the towel down. He's the champions aren't crowned, standing, they're crowned, getting up from the ground. So I rose from the stool for the final bells ring. Out on my strength alone, on the power of the king. Every step to the center felt like walking on faith. God in my corner, every tape, but God already mapped every move he would make. He said, I go before you. The path has been cleared, the weapons they formed against you have already been fed. Joshua at Jericho didn't fight with his fists, just marched in obedience. Walls couldn't resist. Jehoshaphat and worshipers before the army went in. Praise was the strategy, and God secured the win. So I walk into the hardest rounds with worship on my lips. Not because it's easy, but because the battle shift. When I lift his name, the atmosphere begins to break. Principalities start crumbling for my Savior's sake. I don't need the crowd to validate to call him man. I don't need the judges, God already scored the win. Every combination that the enemy throws my way, God already showed me how to slip it and slide. I've had corners that abandoned me, coaches that walked away, people I trusted with my everything that couldn't handle my breaking day. But you never moved an inch, you never looked away. When I was bleeding on the canvas, you were already making a way. You're not just in my corner, you're the reason I stand. Every breath I'm still breathing came from the nail-scarred head. He never left the corner. He never left the corner. When everyone walked out, God stayed in my corner. Can I lose? Before I choose. When my legs give out, his strength comes through. Daddy's calling me through. No weapon stands. With sobering hands, every giant falls, every chain comes free. Then he chose me. Who's in your corner? Who never left? Who holds the victory? Say it loud. Say it again. One more time. The fight is over, and it's still standing. Not because you were the strongest, not because you never fell, but because the one in your corner never stopped believing in you, and you never will. This fight isn't about a belt. It isn't about a trophy. It isn't about who's watching. This fight is about something that was decided before time began. You were drafted into a kingdom that cannot be shaken, assigned to a war that's already been won. You're not just a fighter, you're a kingdom fighter. And that changes everything. Yeah. I don't fight for the crowd, I don't fight for the fame, I don't fight for the glory that attaches to a name. I fight for the kingdom that was purchased with blood. I fight for the standard planted deep in the mud. Born again but battle ready, dual citizenship. Heaven is my homeland, but I'm still on this trip. Ambassador with armor, I represent the king. Every time I step inside the ring, I've seen the spiritual blueprint of the war that we're in. It's not flesh and blood I'm fighting, it's the darkness within. Ephesians 6 is my scouting report every day. I know the enemy's playbook and I know how to pray. So I stand on the front line with the gospel on my feet. Peace that surpasses understanding in it. Not moved by what I see, because I know what's unseen. A kingdom fighter serving the eternal king. This ain't just a fight, this is ancient and holy. This ain't just my battle. Every saint that came before me ran their race and passed the baton. Now it's in my hand, I'm running for the kingdom, running for the land. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord Most High, not drafted under pressure. I volunteered to die to myself, to my ego, to the throne of my will. Picked up the cross and said, God, have you feel? I studied the terrain of the culture I'm sitting in. Like it's a car, I know the times and I'm stepping in. Not with arrogance, with authority and grace. Kingdom fighters know the difference. We run our race. Daniel in Babylon didn't bow to the system. Kept this window open, kept this postural wisdom. 3 Hebrew boys walked in the fire without compromise. Kingdom fighters don't negotiate, they rise. I'm not fighting to survive, I'm fighting to advance. Every plan's a deployment, every praise is a lance. Thrown into the darkness where the enemy holds ground. Kingdom fighters take the territory, city by town. Commissioned by the Jew who sits above every throne. Never on the battlefield alone. The same God who part the waters passed away from me. Kingdom fighter born for this, walking in decree. Lord, I am just one soldier in an army, last in my. But you call me by my name, and you placed me on this side. Not because I was the strongest, not because I never failed, but because your grace was brave. In the darkest pit of hell, I lay my weapons down, holding long enough to pray. Then I pick them up with power, and I fight another day. For the kingdom, for the glory, for the soul still in the dark. Every kingdom fighter parries every fire in their heart. For the kingdom, for the king, for the soul, let me redeem it. Kingdom fighters, we don't quiver. Heaven's army, still advancing. Kingdom fighter, I wear the crown. Heaven's army never stands down. Every giant, every day, and every war. Kingdom fighter, bled, surrender, call. Kingdom fighter, blood bought and free. Kingdom fighter, kingdom fighter, kingdom fighter. That's what God made me. Darkness breaks where kingdom fighters stay. Kingdom fighter. When this life is over, when the final bell is rung, you stand before the king who drafted you into this war. There's only one thing you'll want to hear. Not you were talented, not you were celebrated. Just, well done, good and faithful soldier. Well done.